You have to commit to MAGA. You have to commit to being America first during times like this. Being a moderate and definitely voting Democrat is not the solution. If you disagree with Donald Trump, welcome to being human. You're not going to see eye to eye with him. God didn't make you exactly like Donald Trump. And the truth is, Donald Trump isn't going to always be right. The worst night of my life, because I am so against everything that involves creating controversy, specifically in the Middle East. I mean, it's so triggering to think, but the damage is done. And me jumping ship, you jumping ship to be a moderate, you know, to being a Democrat, like that's not a solution either. You writing it out with me, having conversations with people that are different than us in our party to make our party better, that's the solution, and that's how we make America great.
Are no images of the first family enjoying themselves together in a moment of relaxation. No Obamas on the beach in Hawaii moments, or Bushes fishing in Kennebunkport. No Reagans on horseback.
Yes, what a time to be alive. I have seen a lot of videos, people putting out extremely concerning. Within the space of 48 hours, what I've seen on social media, I can't even put on this platform. Bruce is going off on Trump and attacking the White House to a level never seen before. I don't know why this guy is so obsessed with this. I have seen him with Obama several times. A lot of people are not even blinking. I will play you that video before we go into the full analysis of this clip. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that.
You know why people are really upset that Donald Trump attacked him? It's because he just cleaning up the mess that Barack Hussein Obama left behind. That's the whole reason. Y'all love that talking point where y'all say, well, Barack Obama, he negotiated the deal. So Donald Trump got in and backed out the deal because he's an incompetent leader and he couldn't help the fact that Obama was a master negotiator. It's so funny because y'all never mention the fact that Barack Hussein Obama released $100 billion in frozen assets to. What did you think happened once it rocked that $100 billion in frozen assets? I'll tell you what happened. They continued to support Syria, a real dictator. Remember, y'all called Trump a dictator. Assad is a real dictator who was gassing his own people for standing up against him. That's what Iran did. They used some of that money to develop military. This all because Barack Obama. He wanted to take a different approach. Meanwhile, Trump going in head first. He said, man, we don't care if they have the capability to make new weapons or not. We're going to bomb facilities so we don't have to question it. Ain't no second guessing. Right now, we know they don't have it, and they're going to have a long time before they can even try to create power, whatever they need to create it. Shit, we can say the same thing about Iran. So once again, Barack Hussein Obama left some mess behind that Donald John Trump just had to clean up. It's all good, man. Ain't nothing wrong with calling a spade.
Which president you think takes the most heat for the decision of being the commander-in-chief and making the tough decision of?
There's no art in this White House. There's no literature. There are no images of the first family enjoying themselves together in a moment of relaxation. No Obamas on the beach in Hawaii moments, or Bushes fishing in Kennebunkport. No Reagans on horseback. No Kennedys playing touch football on the Cape. Where'd that country go? Where did all the fun, the joy, and the expression of love and happiness go?
The level of double standard Democrat put out about this whole situation is alarming. And I'm glad that people are observing, seeing what exactly is going on. This guy make perfect sense. He actually bring this video out, quoting with Obama what he did. You will not see Democrat outrage about anything. Bruce sat down with Michelle Obama the other day. That is actually not in relation to about what is going on. I posted this video a few hours ago. There is something that happened. I had to remove the video. Reason, I'm reposting it for people who never saw. Take a look at this.
Democracy is not self-executing. It requires people, judges, and people in the Justice Department, and people throughout the government who take an oath to uphold the Constitution. It requires them to take that oath seriously. And when that isn't happening, we start drifting into something that is not consistent with American democracy. It is consistent with autocracies. It's consistent with Hungary under Orban. It's consistent with places that hold elections but do not otherwise observe what we think of as a fair system in which everybody's voice matters and people have a seat at the table and there are checks and balances and nobody's above the law. But facts are important, because if you can't, and I think one of the most pernicious things that has happened is we have a situation now where we're not just arguing policy or values or opinions, but basic facts are being contested. And that is a problem, because then the marketplace of ideas of the democracy don't work. And we're now in a situation in which we are having these just basic factual arguments. And that further undermines trust. And those in power, those with money, exploit that space in which nobody knows what's true. Vladimir Putin and the KGB had a saying that was then adopted proudly by Steve Bannon, which was, if you want propaganda to be effective, you don't have to convince people that what you are saying is true. You just have to flood the zone with so much poop. They used a different word, but you have to flood the zone with so much untruth constantly that at some point people don't believe anything.
Michelle Obama, every day she's dropped another negativity bomb on us, whether on her podcast or on someone else's. I mean, this audience knows she never says anything positive. It is all complaints.
Video of Michelle Obama today making the rounds.
It's about what he needs as a grown man in the world. That would be.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
No, I would have felt for him.
Yes, Michelle Obama says she's glad she didn't have a son. He would have been Barack Obama. When I saw this clip, at a certain point, I wonder if this woman actually hate Obama. What exactly is going on her podcast? She has been doing this for a very long time. When I look at videos, since she started this, every single day, we have situations like this. I have seen a lot of videos on social media. It is important I show you what she said before we go into the full analysis of this clip.
And people say mothers raise their girls and love their sons. And I'd say love your son, but raise him too. Raise him to be as strong as you know he's going to have to be. You know, teach him about how to deal with a traffic stop, but also teach him how to communicate in a marriage and be a listening father, and to, you know, be a compassionate neighbor, and to be a voting citizen, you know, somebody who's going to pay attention and care about something outside of himself, you know. And if you're thinking about that human then all these choices become a little more clear. One thing, I do want to go back to the work that you've done, the therapy that you've done. And I talk to you about this a lot, that it is rare for men to get help.
That, these podcasts where you what she's doing, which is basically just going around and chit-chatting about her life and the things she thinks is interesting in her life and the thoughts she has in the middle of the night. It's such an act of extreme narcissism to go around talking constantly about the things that are being done to you that you think are unfair, when in the entire 8 billion people on the planet, you are basically in the top 0.00001% of the people who are the most privileged by every reasonable metric. I'm not saying people don't go through bad times if they're very rich or very famous. Of course they do. But don't you have any humility at all, any sensibility at all, that most people don't want to hear from you about how difficult your life is, given that you live in this lavish wealth and fame and got to be in the White House for all those years, but she's angry about it and thinks that it's worthy of all of our attention.
People line up for my advice. And you're walking away like I'm stupid. It's
why don't we choose more carefully who we're going to lionize?
Why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's
she's seriously depressed about how hard it is to live in the White House.
Post this morning alleging that since I said I will prevail.
It also shouldn't be racial. Require Carmelo to run. He had 100.
Has been overwhelming. The lies in their amplification.
This is not going to end. Right is right and wrong is wrong. All good.
If you see any clips after this, that is just for the YouTube algorithm.
What if he says self-defense?
There's no self-defense because kids in here and resolve this issue is called conflict resolution.
Again, the evidence is still coming in.
This is definitely a self-defense case because it always is one until you...
Because she's fearful of what might happen to her.
Followers for anything. And then the
Registration Act is
talking about term, and you will be very...
Once again, the field was littered with Wintour does.
And black people don't want to live around ratchet black.
How bad is his reputation going to be?
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence.